Welcome to the timeless story of Job, a narrative that explores faith, suffering, and the nature of God's justice. Our story begins with Job, a man known throughout the land of Uz. Job was blameless, upright, and feared God, shunning evil in all his ways. He was immensely blessed with great wealth, a large family of 7 sons and 3 daughters, and he constantly offered burnt offerings for their purification. The stability of Job's life was about to be shaken by an unseen, divine challenge. One day, when the angels presented themselves before God, Satan also appeared and challenged God's confidence in Job, suggesting his loyalty was purely transactional. God granted Satan permission to test Job, to take everything he possessed, but commanded that Job himself must not be touched. The trials began almost immediately, unleashing devastating loss upon Job. In quick succession, messengers arrived reporting the loss of all his livestock and servants to raids and fire, and tragically, the death of his 10 children when a great wind destroyed the house where they feasted. Job tore his robe, shaved his head in grief, yet fell to the ground in worship, declaring, "The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord." Job's unwavering faith angered Satan, who sought permission for a second, more personal attack. God allowed Satan to strike Job's body, afflicting him with terrible, painful sores from the sole of his foot to the crown of his head. Even his wife urged him, "Do you still hold fast to your integrity? Curse God and die." But Job rebuked her, accepting both good and trouble from God's hand. Job sat among the ashes, scraping his sores with a piece of broken pottery, when comfort arrived in the form of 3 friends. Eliphaz the Temanite, Bildad the Shuhite, and Zophar the Naamathite arrived, so shocked by his appearance that they wept aloud. They sat on the ground beside him for 7 days and nights without saying a word, for they saw how great his suffering was. The silence was broken by Job, initiating a long, agonizing debate about the nature of his suffering. Job desperately lamented the day of his birth, while his friends argued, based on traditional wisdom, that his immense suffering must be proof of some great hidden sin. Job steadfastly maintained his innocence against the friends' accusations, yearning instead for a court appearance with God to plead his case and understand the reason for his pain. When the human dialogue exhausted itself, God finally broke the silence, speaking to Job from a fierce whirlwind. God challenged Job with a barrage of questions about the creation of the universe, the majesty of nature, and the limits of human knowledge, asking, "Where were you when I laid the earth's foundation?" Job was humbled by the encounter, acknowledging God's infinite power and wisdom, repenting for speaking beyond his understanding, and submitting completely to the divine will.